What's going on, y'all? Listen, man, I want to talk about something a little bit heavy this time around. Something that came to my attention that I want to talk about and bring up. So this video is going to be really sensitive. It's going to be extremely sensitive, but I'm going to preface everything that I'm about to say with in no way am I advocating for hate speech, in no way am I advocating for violence, in no way am I advocating for anything malicious or negative. I am simply telling my observations as how I see them. Okay, so with that being said, let me start talking about because what made me realize this was FBG Duck. Okay, his funeral was very recent. I think it was like last week or something. He had a funeral, and it got me thinking. I was thinking about it, and I saw a video where they said that his father has been released from prison. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. I couldn't find any information on that. And, that's none of my business. But somebody put it out there. And they said that, listen, this man's father, who's pretty much been in jail the whole time Duck was out in these streets making money and all of this. The whole time, he's been in jail pretty much all of Duck's life. And when he gets out, Duck is dead. Okay? Now, Duck talks a lot about smoking dead ops, all right? He talks a lot about smoking dead ops. He talks about the dead. He does it to invoke a lot of, emotion. His father, according to Duck, in an interview that he did, his father was wrongfully imprisoned. They took his father away, and his father was innocent, according to him. I don't know nothing about his case. I don't even know what he was in jail for. My point is this: how could you have so much hate, so much anger for someone else that you don't have for the people who took your father away your entire life? You see what I'm saying? Now, I only bring that up to say that he probably did have that anger, that animosity towards the people that locked his father up. But it's not socially acceptable necessarily. Like in hip hop it is, but I'm talking about the same energy he had for his opposition, for what he would consider to be his opposition, the same energy he had for them, he did not have for the people that locked his father up. You follow me? Now, I bring that up because of this. Follow me. Because because this video isn't about, oh, he should have had that energy. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying he did not have that energy. And the reason why I don't think he had that energy is because, well, let me take you back a little bit. If you remember, Rick Ross had a song. He had a song. He was featured on a song. You Don't Even Know It. Okay, you don't even know it. It's like UNENO, something to that effect. And in that song, he talked about date rape. He talked about putting Molly inside of a girl's drink. Okay, now he got a lot of backlash for that. They pulled a lot. They pulled that part out. He lost like a Reebok deal. People there was protests. It was looking ugly for Rick Ross. It was cancel Rick Ross season. But in the same song, they talk about killing black people. It's okay for me to talk about killing black men, other black men, but it's not okay for me to talk about rape? Now, again, let me reiterate, I'm not saying he needs, he should be able, I'm not saying he should be talking about it. I'm not even saying that he should have been allowed to talk about it. He shouldn't have lost his endorsements and all that. I'm not even saying that. I'm simply pointing out that he can talk about killing black men, selling drugs, pimping, degrading women. But he can't talk about rape, date rape. Okay? Because the people who sponsor him saw that as going over the line. Okay? Now, I bring that up to say there is a level of social acceptability when it comes to the destruction of the black man. Yeah, I can say that. Yeah, there's a level of acceptability when it comes to that level of destruction. If somebody came out with a song as many times and as many hits as Duck had, with the same energy for, say, maybe Jewish people, okay, they wouldn't be allowed to. They would be played nowhere. It wouldn't even be played on platforms that usually, like, it wouldn't even be played on YouTube, okay? Nick Cannon, let's use Nick Cannon as an example, okay? Now, again, I'm not agreeing with what he said. I'm pretty sure what he said is false. But I don't know enough about it, okay? Because he said it's false. So I got to go on with what he's talking about. He's the one that said it. He said something about Jewish people, okay? And he damn near lost his whole career. He lost his wilding out, the thing that we all know him for. He's in a lawsuit now with Viacom, I believe. His career is in the balance. I mean, he still got his show on Fox, but all over a comment about Jewish people, which I am not saying that I agree. But how is it that you get that much backlash over something like that, but you don't get the same energy when it comes to raps every day talking about killing, selling drugs, and all of this, like the degradation of black women, all of that? You don't get that same backlash? That goes to show you the hierarchy within this system that we're in right now, okay? It is acceptable, it's socially acceptable when black people die. I'll give you another example. Crimes, right? Those who live in major cities, like major metropolitan, like inner cities, know for a fact that if someone kills, if somehow a white person is inside of a black neighborhood, that shouldn't probably be there, and something happens, they will absolutely find who did it. If they get killed, they're finding out. If, like, I'm talking about those scenarios where it's just like, yeah, some chick just came over the crib and something popped off and she got shot. I've seen stories my entire life within my city alone. So I can only imagine, and my city is a small city, I can only imagine what it is with others. It's never the same energy. Like, you get press conferences. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, of course, like, the stories are always on the news, but there's a level of energy that's not the same. Those who know. And if you don't, listen, I live in the real world and I see the change. Like, if a white dude is getting shot in a project somewhere, the energy is different as opposed to as if it was a black person. Okay? Now, with that being said too, now there is also a higher crime rate within the black community itself when it comes to, like, murders, okay? Now, I understand how mass incarceration is a revolving door and it's set up for you to keep on going back and forth. But, and I understand that there are systems that are made to trap you, but I'm not talking about that right now. I'm talking about the murder rate, okay? The murder rate within the black community outpaces everybody else in this country. That's an internal issue. That's an internal problem that I'm going to talk about a little bit further. But for right now, I want to talk about this censorship issue right now. Not necessarily censorship, but these social taboos that we have right now when it comes to talking about certain people, certain things, okay? Now, you have FBG Duck, who damn near made it popular to talk about the dead, okay? Now, that's a Chicago thing, and that's the way they live. That man's gone. There's not much I can say at this point. But about that specific thing. But what I will say is, Why is it okay for him to talk about that? For him to talk about the destruction of somebody that's damn near in his shoes, in his same shoes, but it's not okay for him to talk about the people that took his father away. Or it's not okay for Nick Cannon to talk about, Jewish people. You know what I mean? Like, or it's not okay for Rick Ross to talk about date rape. Now, if it's not okay for one thing, why is it okay for the other? I'll tell you why. Because there is a unwritten rule. There are codes that are not spoken of that pretty much say it's a little bit easier to deal with when it's happening to a black person. I mean, look at society. Look at what's going on in the world. Yes, white people get killed by the police. Absolutely. Not like black people, though. Now, that brings me back to what I was talking about earlier. Now, this video is going to offend a lot of people. I understand it's going to offend a lot of people. But I got to call it as I see it. There's white on white crime. There's black on black crime. There's Asian on Asian crime. There's Indian on Indian crime. Everybody does crime with whoever they live with, okay? If you live around a whole bunch of white people, you're going to do crime to a bunch of white people, and you're probably going to be white. If you live in a neighborhood full of a bunch of black people, you're going to do crime to a bunch of black people, and you're going to be probably black. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about murder. I'm talking about the murder rate. That is astronomical. In 2013, the FBI has black criminals carrying out 38% of murders compared to 31% for whites. The offender's race was unknown in 29.1% of the cases. 93% of black victims were killed by blacks, and 84% of white victims were killed by whites. Black people are only 13% of the population. That's a problem. I don't know who is to blame. All I know is black people are the only people that can fix it when it comes to the murder rate. Now, I'm not talking about social welfare. I'm not talking about, you can't get good schools and this and that. I'm talking about you making the conscious decision to get up, go ahead and kill somebody. Black people are doing that, outpacing everybody else by a landslide at only 13% of the population. So if I'm going to call out everybody else, I got to call this out as well. Now, if I'm missing something, somebody let me know what I'm missing. But that's kind of crazy. And it makes it really, really hard to convince people why they shouldn't be in black neighborhoods over policing. Because murder is scary for anybody. You have all this hate and all this animosity for some dude that's in the same boat as you, that you forget that there's a whole world out there. There are whole systems out there that are in place to keep you down, keep you submissive, keep you poor, keep you broke, keep you destitute. All of those are damn near the same thing, but whatever. That's a problem. That's a real issue that I gotta call out. Now, I don't know if I can blame the white man for that one. I don't know if I can blame the white man for that one, guys. I'm going to keep it funkadelic with you. I might be able to tell him the education is fucked up. I might even be able to tell him, like, yo, the anger, you might need to punch something that raised without a father because you locked them up in jails and the kids grow up to be angry and all this. But listen, when you talk about 13% of the population committing most of the murders, that's That's scary to anybody. To anybody. Even if it is just happening, even if we're doing it to each other, but that's just a scary scenario, and that's not happening other places. At some point you gotta kind of look within. Now, I'm with y'all when it comes to everything else, but this one's a little bit different. It's all up in the music. It's okay to talk about all of that stuff. It's acceptable to just kill another black man with no problem. It's acceptable. But yeah, you'll hear fuck 12 every now and then. You'll hear that. You'll hear fuck the police and all of that. But at some point, it reverts right back to what it was. I'm selling drugs in my community and I'm killing another black man. Now, I am not saying I don't bump the music. It sounds good. But I'm sure you can make something else sound good too. You know what I mean? Like, basically, that shit's starting to get kind of corny. Maybe I'm just getting old. But it's starting to get a little corny with everything going on in the world when we're literally seeing people getting gunned down in the back and all that. For me to like really vibe out to hearing you talk about killing your ops. Like, that's not a wavelength that I don't think I can be a part of. And the planet is kind of shaking the country up, shaking the people up out of that wavelength, okay? And so now let me connect the dots. So earlier I was bringing up how it's okay for you to talk about killing black men, and it's okay for you to do all of this negative shit, you know, about black people. But it's not okay for you to talk about Jewish people, raping people, you know, killing cops, anything like that. Like, it's not okay for you to talk about that. Why is that? Why is it so cool for me to talk about that? Because, like I said, it's socially acceptable. And we accepted it. You know what I mean? And that's not right. Can't do that. It's starting to become real corny. When I'm listening to it now it's just like, all right, find something else to rap about. Like, this gangster, like, if you're gonna talk gangster shit, talk some real gangster shit. You know what I mean? Talk about some gangster shit on the system. Now, okay, so now I'm giving my opinion. Talk about some gangster shit on the system. You know what I mean? Because right now it's on some shit where it's just like, I can't get jiggy with it. You see what I'm saying? I can't get jiggy with hearing you keep on, like, killing us. Like, I can't be yelling Black Lives Matter and then bumping you killing people. Maybe I'm getting old, but it's just corny at this point. Like, it's starting to just not even be cool. Like, it's not even cool now. Like, make anything sound cool. Now, I'm not saying redirect the energy. I'm not saying redirect the energy. What I'm saying is, actually, no, wait, I am saying redirect. What am I saying? I'm not saying redirect the energy to something else that's super hateful and to another group of people. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is make something else sound cool. Talk about freaking, like, talk about credit scamming or something, taking away, robbing banks or something. Like, I don't know. Make it sound, talk about taking down the system, making it sound cool or whatever. Talk about something else. Even if, like, because I get it, like, sometimes you kind of need that, like, that, especially with men, like you can't talk about fucking relationships and paying houses and how pretty the skies are. Like, sometimes you kind of need some adrenaline music. Like, you want to feel like, yeah, anybody, you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. Like, I get that. You can do that with something else. You see what I'm saying? Like, and it doesn't even have to be, yeah, let's ride on the police. Like, it doesn't even have to be that. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. But it could really be on some, like, yeah, man, I'm gonna rack up. We gonna take back what they took from us. Like, whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like whatever. You know what I mean? Just, you can make it sound good. Like Loaded Lux, he had a song, Till This Day. I bump that shit till this day. Like, till this day, I'm still bumping till this day. And that's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. That song right there is a perfect example. Because when I listen to that song, I get that, like, you know, like, bravado, like, yeah, man, can't nobody mess with me. It is what it is. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I'm not like, yeah, you're the enemy. You know what I mean? Like, my attention is redirected somewhere else. So, FBG Duck, growing up in this society where it's socially acceptable to just gun down black men, and not necessarily socially acceptable to talk about, that level of energy that you had. It's not acceptable to direct that to anybody else. It's not socially acceptable for you to do that. And when you look at it, if you think that you pretty much then your father got kidnapped and locked away unjustly, according to what he said in his interview. I don't know nothing about his father's case, but what he said is his dad was unjustly locked up. So how is it that you got this energy for these people? Well, let me move away from him because he's a little bit past, but in general, with all of us, the energy that you have towards black men as a black person is manufactured. It's pumped inside of you. You don't necessarily have to have that energy directed towards a black man. You can have that macho energy, that machismo, that nobody can mess with me energy, talking about something else. You can have that. You can have that danger side or whatever, like, because it's getting corny. It's getting real corny. Like, I don't even, like, I still listen to it, whatever, because that's what's out, but I guess I'm getting old. But then again, it's a bunch of young people at these protests. Like, let me tell you this, man. You're kind of corny. You're kind of like, and I feel this too. I'm in this too. Like, you kind of corny if you out here, like, really like, on some shit like, yeah, I'm really vibing with this. Bow. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. Bow. Yeah, we gonna ride up. We gonna slide up. Fuck that nigga. Fuck. And then after that, you show up to a, Black Lives rally or get super mad when a cop, kills an unarmed black person. Like, because, and here's why, because that energy, you don't see it. In your head, you think it's just in your head or whatever, but in reality, it leaks out into the real world. Like, and this is why I brought up FBG Duck, and I'm gonna stop bringing it up because he's already passed. I'm really trying to make the connection here. I'm trying to connect the dots with you guys. Like, that's why it's acceptable for you to have this energy directed at, people that probably isn't gonna change your life much. If something happens to these guys that live up the block from you, something happens to them, it's not gonna change your life much. Police reform will, though. You know what I mean? Like, Like, coming up on some cat, like, whatever you want to talk about. So that's pretty much what I gotta say about that, man. The video's going on too long, so y'all already know the slogan. And listen. Let me say this before I go. A few things, because I understand this is a real touchy subject. I want everybody to love everybody. I don't, like, when I bring up being able to talk about one thing and not being able to talk about the other. It's not like I'm trying to hear about women getting taken advantage of. That's not what I'm trying to hear. Like, I understand that, but I'm saying, like, peep the double standard. Peep it. Just look at it. You see what I'm saying? Just look at it. Peep it. Like, I get it. And everything I'm saying, I'm within the system. Like, I'm not speaking above anybody. I'm within the bullshit that I'm talking about. Like, I'm just having a moment of reflection right now, and I figured I'd share that moment. Because at some point in, like, maybe a half hour, I'm going to be back in the bullshit. You see what I'm saying? But within this moment, I realized that there's something wrong with that picture. There is a subconscious thing out there that tells us in this society that it's a little bit more okay when it's happening to a black person. And those are all examples of why it is okay. Now, check this out, man. I love confrontation. If you think that I'm out of bounds, let me know. Tell me. Be respectful, but let me know. Tell me if I'm out of bounds right here. Tell me if I got something messed up. Tell me if I'm not on point. Anything. But if you with it, man, just let me know too. You know what I mean? Hit that button. Let me know, man. So that's how I feel. And you already know the slogan. Breathe easy.